there's a crisis of period poverty. The current solutions are just not working. In our country, we are losing out on $87 billion of GDP because women are not working on their period. I mean,
Absolutely.
Look at the economic opportunity. And because we are so problem focused, I think as soon as we made a great product, we immediately got traction both from high income and kind of rural segments, and it's really grown from there.
Today, I'm sitting down with Ira Guha, who's the founder of Asan Cup. Ira has designed India's first highest quality menstrual cup at Harvard Innovation Lab. Hi, Ira. How are you?
Hi, Nav. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited to talk all things period cups today.
Yes.
And first time, I'm so excited to personally learn that how period cups works. But before we start, I would love to know your journey and what inspired you to start this.
Yeah, so I grew up in Bangalore and I went to the UK when I was 18 to go to university. And then I was working in a consulting career in the private sector. And I very organically became interested in menstrual health because of interactions actually in my community in Bangalore every time I used to travel home. So if you go back to like 2015, 2016, you might remember the movie Padman. Was really popular, and it was actually low-cost sanitary pads that were being pushed by government, NGOs, everyone, to increase access to period care. And obviously, I thought this was a good thing. And then I had this interaction with a domestic worker who was actually missing out on work because she had such bad rashes. And I asked her to show me the pads, and I was genuinely shocked. They were like bricks. Super uncomfortable, horrible materials. She explained to me that women in her community were actually throwing them away and switching back to rags because they were such bad quality.
Yeah.
And I, living in the UK, because I was trying to be eco-friendly, I had actually, when I was a student, started using a menstrual cup. A different menstrual cup. Asan didn't exist at the time. And I showed it to her and I was like, this is how it works. Would you try one? And at the time, I think there were no period cups in India. And she was like, yeah, I'll try anything, And she took to it instantly. Like she could literally do all her tasks. She wasn't missing out on work. And then she immediately started asking me, can I have some for my nieces? Can I have some for my sisters? Can you bring back more? And every time I was traveling back to India, I was bringing like 10 menstrual cups and just handing them out. And it was growing and growing and growing. And then fast forward a couple of years, I was doing a master's in social impact at Harvard. And I was telling a professor about the work I was doing in menstrual health. And he was like, what are you doing? This model is just growing on its own organically. Go design your own product, make a better product. There's clearly something in this. And that's how I got started.
Amazing. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I think you've done like such a great work in very short span of time, right?
Yeah, it's been about 3.5 years since we launched Asan. And the thing is, I think because we are a problem-focused venture, the growth has been very organic. We started with there's a crisis of period poverty. The current solutions are just not working. In our country, we are losing out on $87 billion of GDP because women are not working on their period. I mean, look at the economic opportunity. And because we are so problem focused, I think as soon as we made a great product, we immediately got traction both from high income and kind of rural segments. And it's really grown from there.
Right. But there are so many period cups in India now, right? And how do you differentiate your product compared to others?
Yeah, that is a great question. And there's a lot of education that is involved, right? And the number one thing I try to explain to people is that when it comes to lots of period products, especially menstrual cups, people are essentially going online, mass ordering bulk products that they did not make, repackaging and reselling. So it could be a website like Alibaba. If I just search menstrual cup today, I can order, for a very cheap price, 10,000 cups, repackage it and put my brand name on it and resell it. And honestly, nearly every single menstrual cup brand in India today does that. So nobody has designed a cup from scratch, which actually, is leak proof, which works. They've looked into the materials to make sure it's high quality. They're just buying and reselling. Now, what's so different about Asan is that we worked with engineers at the Harvard Innovation Lab to design the world's easiest menstrual cup to insert and remove.
Right.
Because the issue with cups is that there's a lot of hesitance because how do you put it in? How do you take it out? So we actually wanted to innovate on the product. So we went through 4 rounds of user trials. The Asan Cup has a ring. It's patented. It's really easy to locate it and bring it lower. Yeah, there you go.
It's soft.
And the material is class 6 silicone, which is the highest grade. It's a medical material. It's the same thing that goes into heart stents. And because we own the patent, only we can make the design, and we control the entire chain from designing it, manufacturing it, quality checks. So it's not just that we're buying and reselling. We've actually made our own product. Every product has like the Asan name even embossed on it. So you know that it's original, which you're not going to get with any other brand. So you can really trust the quality. And that's why it's so durable. It actually does last 10 years.
Yeah, my concern has always been with period cups that quality.
Yeah. Because it's something you're putting inside you,
what kind of material has been used?
Exactly.
And where is it manufactured? Like what is the process and all of that, right?
Yeah, so that's exactly why we use class 6 medical silicone, and our facilities are medical device certified. Right. So we actually treat it as a medical device.
Oh, great. So you are the first product from India.
We're the first brand from India that has not just, repacking and reselling a generic cup, but that has designed a cup from scratch.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. So actually you have 2 sizes, right? And does it come in different sizes?
Yeah, no, great question. Because the thing with cups is when we were launching our business and we were researching even the best brands globally, sizing was so confusing. Yeah. There were these questions like, how high is your cervix? The majority of women in India don't even know what a cervix is, right? Have you given a birth vaginally? All of these like technical terms, which were very confusing. Yeah. And we actually sat down with gynecologists and we said, how should menstrual cup sizing work? Right. And what we learned from gynecologists is actually it's all about your flow. And it's also very simple because when you buy pads, you buy based on, is it light flow, medium flow, heavy flow, XL flow? It's exactly the same with the Asan Cup. We just designed it based on flow. So you have a light medium flow cup and a heavy flow cup. So it's as simple as that. If you can wear a pad for around 5 to 6 hours without leaking through it, just go for our light medium flow cup. Okay. If you're someone who tends to leak a lot through pads, change every 2-3 hours because of leaks, just go for our heavy flow cup. It's as simple as that.
Amazing. But it also looks like really big, right? How do you use that?
So totally. The number one question we get asked at Asan is, this looks so big, how is it going to fit inside me?
Yeah, that's my question.
And I totally get it because it does look big. Yeah. But the crazy thing is, it's such a soft, flexible material that you can just fold it in half and it becomes into a very tiny shape. And then once you fold it, you just have to glide it inside the body and it pops open. And the craziest part is once it's inside, you feel nothing. Okay. It's like there's nothing there. Like you can't feel anything inside you. Right. And then it will collect your flow inside you for up to 12 hours. Right. It will hold up to 3 times more than a pad. So imagine if you're changing your pad every 4 or 5 hours, you could probably wear the Asan Cup for 12 hours and it's completely safe. And then to take it out, we have this patented removal ring, which you use to like locate it and bring it lower. This was one of the major complaints with other cups was like, it's really hard to, locate it. Exactly. So the ring is just a very obvious, design feature that makes it so much easier. And then you have to pinch the cup to break the seal, take it out, empty it. And then when you literally can wash it and reuse it straight away. That's the beauty of it. You just need this one tiny thing and you can just use just this for your whole period. Yeah. You don't have to throw anything in the dustbin. You don't have to buy extra products. If you're traveling, you don't have to like pack loads of pads. Just one tiny cup. That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's so discreet.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many times you have to empty it in a day? Like when you have usually heavy flow?
Yeah, it depends on your flow. Yeah. Me personally, I have like moderate flow. For me, it's 12 hours. So I put it on at like say 8 a.m. when I wake up and then I don't change it till I go to sleep.
Amazing.
And then through the night as well. On your heavy days, if you tend to have heavy flow, you might want to check it every 6 hours or so.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe once it's full, it doesn't leak at all.
So once it's full, it will leak, but
Okay.
because it holds 3 times more than a pad,
Yeah.
it will only leak, after say 6 hours if you have very heavy flow.
Right.
The most important thing is the first time you start using a cup, just, don't do it when you're like traveling or you're rushing and you don't have access to a bathroom. Do it when you're like comfortable at home, and then you can check, every 4 hours, every 6 hours, how much has it filled up, and you'll understand your body.
Right.
And something that people love about using period cups is it makes you understand your body so much more, because when you use a pad, you have no idea how much flow that is, right? Like it looks like a lot, but actually the average period is about 65 ml spread over 5 days, and the Asan cup holds 25 to 30 ml. So, after a full day, you've only bled this much. And then you understand, you're like, on my first day, I have like 2 cups full.
Exactly.
On my last day, it's like just a quarter. You actually become so much more in tune with your body.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
right?
and you understand yourself better.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
So why should someone switch from pads to menstrual cups, and what are the benefits of making this change?
Yeah, great question. There are, I would say, 3 reasons why literally anyone would benefit from switching from pads to the Asan cup.
Right.
Number 1 is your own health.
Yeah.
So pads are usually over 90% plastic. They contain toxins, pesticides, perfumes, all kinds of chemicals, which, we don't even know what goes into them because the manufacturers don't have to say.
Right.
The Asan cup is made of one material, class 6 medical grade silicone, the same thing used in heart stents. We have the highest level of medical device certification. If a doctor is willing to put this into a heart patient, we know that it is, safe for your body.
Use, yeah.
So the number 1 reason to do this is for your health. The second reason is you will save so much money because it's reusable for up to 10 years. So people spend something like 500 rupees per period on pads and tampons, right? And over a 10-year period, that can add up to more than 60,000 rupees. This is a one-time purchase of about, 1,500 if you were to get it on our website or on Amazon.
Right.
And then after just 3 months, you'll already start saving.
Yeah.
So you'll save a lot of money.
So you can use 1 cup for at least 3 months?
Oh, you can use 1 cup for like more than 5 years. We have users who've been safely using it for years now.
Okay.
And then the third reason, which I think is so important for us to all recognize and talk about, is it's so much more eco-friendly. In India, we're sending more than 12 billion plastic sanitary pads to landfill. And, what we don't even think about is what happens to these pads once we throw them away, because they're not biodegradable, but they're also not recyclable. They are physically picked apart by waste pickers, which is like hugely damaging to people's lives.
Right.
So it's bad for the planet and it's bad for people. And this is a small, simple switch that is good for the environment, good for your pocket, good for your body. Why wouldn't you try it?
Exactly. And how much money do you save switching to cups?
You can save up to or even more than 50,000 rupees if you were to switch.
50,000 for?
Over a 10-year period.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, it's a huge amount of money. And especially Asan works in really rural contexts.
Yeah.
And even some of those families are like saving up to buy pads for daughters. And they have said to us, we now have money that we can spend on education, on food, on other things that matter.
I think these things we never count, right? I never calculated how much money I've been spending on pads or tampons or panty liners and all of that, right?
Yeah, it really adds up. And the crazy thing is it's 1 tiny cup. That's all you need. Yeah.
Very easy to carry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the reason the name is Asan. Easy. Yeah.
I'm very interested to know that, like, can you do yoga, Pilates, running, workout, wearing cup?
So, crazy thing.
Yeah.
Menstrual cups are the number 1 most popular product with athletes, including professional athletes, because they're the most convenient for swimming, yoga, running. Why is that? Because it's worn internally and you don't feel anything. It's almost like you're not on your period.
Right.
So with pads, you get chafing, you get rashes. With tampons, you have a string outside. Also, you might have to keep changing it. Because you can wear the Asan Cup for 12 hours,
Right.
we have professional triathletes who will literally do swimming, running, cycling, like all day workout with just
Right.
one Asan Cup. And it's completely game changing, even for sports teams.
Right.
So if you are an active person,
yeah.
the really sad thing is you usually just skip workouts during periods.
Yeah.
You know, how many people do that? They're like, I'm on my period, I'm not going to the gym. And actually, maybe you shouldn't be doing a really hard workout, but science suggests that some movement is really important for cramps, for feeling better.
Right.
And this is something that enables you to do that.
Yeah. Great. And can you sleep with cups?
Yeah, of course you can sleep through the night. And the number one piece of feedback, again, that we get is I'm actually like resting the entire night. Because if you have heavy flow, you know what it's like to like set your alarm and wake up to change your pad.
I do that. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's messing with your sleep. And even worse is to have stained sheets, to leak through your pajamas. Again, 12 hours, no leaks. So you can have a beautiful sleep through the night.
Yeah.
And you just need the Asan Cup. You don't even need a backup.
No, absolutely. But I also like, of course, the cups has a lot of benefit overall. Good for planet, it's sustainable, also very eco-friendly, easy to carry, you save a lot of money. But I've also heard other side of the story that some women actually get UTI infections using cups. So, I mean, can you just explain on that?
Yeah.
Like, why does that happen?
Yeah. So I think this is where the quality of the cup and the brand is really important.
Right.
And this is coming back to the question you asked me earlier around, what makes Asan different.
Right.
And it's that we have really chosen the world's highest quality silicone, and also that we test one cup in every batch for safety and cytotoxicity. Now, if you're going on Amazon and just, ordering the cheapest cup out there, please keep in mind this is something that you're inserting into your body.
Right.
And so you want to be very confident. Does this brand adhere to very strict quality standards? Do they own their own design? What is the material? So with the Asan Cup, for example, we actually see a reduction in infections because compared to people who are wearing pads, obviously that's an external environment. Bacteria are more likely to grow. Whereas if you're using the cup and it's internal and it's such a safe material, you're less likely to have infections.
Right.
The only thing I would add is if you do currently have any kind of infection, like a UTI, do not use anything insertable.
Right.
Wait for your infection to clear up before you try a period cup.
Great. So, so it's actually basically depends on the product quality, right? Which is very, very important.
Yeah, it's super important because, of course, if it's food grade silicone or if it's rubber or if it's plastic, it might cause some kind of chafing.
Yeah.
It might not be as healthy for you. So it's really important this is any period product, try and do your research and choose something that's good quality.
Yeah. And how do you wash the cups? Like, how do you keep them hygienic and clean? Yeah.
So the best way to sterilize the cup is actually to boil it.
Okay.
So between periods, just put it in boiling hot water and it will instantly sterilize.
Okay.
During your period, you can just wash it with clean water.
Right.
But what we learned from our user base is that a lot of people were using soap on their cup. Yeah. I would not advise this because number one, soap can damage the silicone of the cup. And number two, if there's a little bit of soap and commercial soap with chemicals left on the cup and you insert it, that's going to give you a reaction.
Right.
So at Asan, we actually developed a new product called the Asan One Drop Cleanser, which is a specific natural cleanser that is formulated, number one, to be safe for the cup.
Right.
And number two, to be safe for your body. So it's gone through a lot of trials.
Okay.
So if you're the kind of person who wants that extra reassurance that your cup is like squeaky clean, please use the Asan One Drop Cleanser.
I'm one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it will kill 99% of bacteria. And every time you take your cup out, just one drop of the cleanser will completely clean your cup.
So how do you just clean? Like just put a drop on it and just...
Yeah, so you empty your cup, one drop of cleanser, rub it all around and then just wash very thoroughly with clean water and you're good to go.
Yeah. Someone who actually doesn't want to buy the cleanser, they can just simply boil it, right?
Yeah, you can boil between periods and then just wash with clean running water and that is completely safe.
Okay.
Yep.
So not to wash with any soap or any other
Don't wash
product.
with any soap because it can damage the silicone and damage your body.
Right. Great. And I think, I also see that Asan has done so much impactful work.
Yeah.
And congrats, you were also at the Cartier. And I would love to know more about, your experience working in rural India and what is the perspective?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what makes Asan, again, so unique and different from, I think, other brands globally
Right.
is that we are the only period product brand with a scalable solution,
Right.
both for urban markets, Western markets, as well as very rural markets, right? So we're present in Indian cities, in the UK, in Europe, but we're also present in rural Karnataka, rural
Right.
UP, Sub-Saharan Africa, countries like Malawi, Zanzibar.
Wow.
And how we got a foothold was we actually launched with a 1-for-1 donation scheme.
Right.
So when we launched, we said that for every Asan Cup we sell, we will donate one for free to someone who can't access safe period care. And we set up very strong partnerships with rural women's health NGOs, with Asha and Anganwadi workers, who I know you also work with.
Right.
And we have a peer-to-peer learning model. So instead of, we don't just go and give out thousands of Asan Cups and not follow up. We actually have a very deliberate behavioral change model,
Right.
where we co-opt the community leaders. We ask them to try the Asan Cup. And when they love it, we allow them to spread it. So
Right.
it's a real kind of peer-to-peer learning model through trusted source. And the amazing thing is once you have a critical mass, like we now have in Kanakapura, which is in Karnataka,
Right.
we have nearly 100 villages where every single woman and girl is using the Asan Cup. And it
That's
is
amazing.
spreading like wildfire because once, 70% of the women in your village are using it, you also want it.
Of course.
And they, in terms of the impact, going beyond money and going beyond how much you're saving and sustainability, the biggest impact is these are people who are not working on their period.
Right.
They were not going to school and college, and they are now, for 5 days a month active. They're able
Right.
to go from one village to another to travel. So on the community level, the impact is actually so many more days of work,
Right.
so many more days of college, such a huge reduction in stress and anxiety. So it's been incredible to be part of that.
Amazing. And tell me more about Cartier. How was it?
Yeah, I know. So we won the Cartier Women's Initiative Award this year for our social impact. And I have been, as a femtech founder, part
Right.
of many accelerators and awards over the years, but nothing has been as incredible as this award.
Right.
For a couple of reasons. One is just the global visibility. Obviously,
Right.
periods are a very taboo topic, right?
Yeah.
And for a brand like Cartier to say, actually, we're going to award a period brand really brings the work we're doing on period poverty, tampon waste to the global stage.
Right.
It gives it a lot of credibility.
Yeah.
The other amazing aspect is the other women who win the award. So your
Yep.
cohort, you have people from solving food waste in Kenya,
Right.
solving huge problems with disabilities, like blind people not being able to access books or learning or e-commerce platforms. So they're solving some of the world's biggest challenges, and it's a very powerful group of women now who are
Right.
supporting each other. And then finally, it's financial support, right? Like I know
Yeah.
you also talk about lack of funding
Yeah.
for women entrepreneurs. The number one thing our businesses need is funding. And
Right.
there's, we got something like $60,000 in
Oh, wow. Amazing.
equity-free grant from Cartier. So
Yeah.
it's also just helping, promote all of our work.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
great. I was there at 2022 at Paris. It
Oh
was
my God,
so great. It
yeah.
was so nice to attend the awards, being part of it and seeing so many women on stage. I'm sure must have been very incredible experience for you.
Oh God, it
Yeah.
was so glitzy. It felt like a
Yeah.
beauty pageant. But no, in all seriousness, I would really encourage female founders in India, if you have an impactful business,
Yeah.
apply. You
Of
never
course.
know, because it's an amazing platform to kind of take your business to the next level.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I also see that if your work is good, there are a lot many opportunities now to explore, and there are many people who are going to support you.
Yeah.
And I think you and I had conversation regarding funds as well. Like you just
Yeah.
rightly mentioned that
Yeah.
there are so many non-profit funds they are really happy to support businesses. And I think women should really need to step up and just explore different opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's partly on us to step
Right.
up, but it's also partly on funders. I mean,
Yeah.
I think look outside the box. Some of the most profitable businesses are with founding teams that have women.
Right.
I also think funders need to look at alternate business models. Like something that makes Asan unique is that it is not just a very pure for-profit company. It's a
Right.
social venture. You know, we care about profits and we care about purpose and we care about them equally. And we were able to attract investment from the US because I think there are a lot of alternate funders who think a little bit differently, not just about backing female founders, but about backing different innovative business models. And I think we need a little bit more of that in India as well.
Yeah, I think that's our mission as well. Like at Femtech India, we are a profit-driven company, but we're also very impact-driven.
Yeah.
Because we don't just look at everything, we have to make revenues out of that, because I think it's just purely bringing people together and having representation of our community, especially South Asian women.
Yes, absolutely.
What they're trying to do and why they're trying to do. And I'm so grateful. Like now we have very colorful community of women across the world.
Yeah, and you're bringing South Asian women's work to the global stage.
Yeah, exactly.
And that has huge impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like, as we just said, like there are many people actually willing to support, not just bringing their voices at forefront, but also how can we contribute to each other is something really important, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the easiest ways, which I think you do a lot, is like facilitating introductions.
Yeah.
Who can I introduce you to in my network who will make a tangible impact on your business?
Exactly. And I think these things definitely go a long way. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What advice do you have for someone who has never used menstrual cup and wants to make that switch?
My number one piece of advice is you have to try it out for 3 cycles before you are sure whether it works or not for your body. I think a lot of people think the first time they use it, it's going to be really easy. And then because it's a new product, it's insertable, it takes a while to get used to and to learn how to exactly put it in and how it should open up. So if you just try it once and you have an issue, do not give up. Please continue for 3 period cycles, because I promise the investment you make in, experimenting a little bit with your cup, it will serve you for the rest of your life. So use it for 3 cycles. Don't give up.
Great. And also I stalked you a bit on your website, and I was just looking at your price tag 1,800, right? And there are many menstrual products in the market priced at 250 to 300, 400. And how do I get value for my money? Like if I'm spending 1,800, right? Why is it priced like little higher comparatively to others?
This is an insertable product. It's something that you're putting inside yourself.
Right.
It's really important to choose high quality. And like with any product segment, you're going to have such a range in quality, and Asan is at the very top. Why should you buy the highest quality menstrual cup? It's number one, because you're inserting it, so you want it to be safe. And number two, because you actually want it to last you a long time, right? That's the point of menstrual cups. Now, today you can go on Amazon and order a very poor quality 300 rupee cup. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. You might have to throw it away. Even if it does work, probably after a couple of months, it'll leak and discolor. And then you're going to have to buy Asan anyway.
Right.
So a lot of people who come to us, it's because they had a very bad experience with a cheap menstrual cup.
Right.
So all I can say is it's an insertable product. You have to choose the best quality for your body.
Yeah.
What we find with a lot of brands is that they are very flimsy.
Yeah.
So because the quality of silicone is bad, it's a very flimsy product. So it doesn't open up inside you and it doesn't make a seal.
Oh, okay.
You have, a menstrual cup has to be somewhat firm to actually make a seal with your body and not leak.
Right.
So a lot of these very cheap products are very flimsy.
Right.
So they won't open up. You'll have leaks. You'll have discomfort. Maybe it will have a stick that pokes you.
Yeah.
All things that will just give you a bad experience.
Right.
And then, it'll either put you off cups
or
you will look for the high quality product out there, which is Asan.
Right. you are actually, currently selling in India, but you're also already also in the global market, right? And what is the consumer behavior comparatively India and being in UK? Are you in US as well?
We're launching in the US later
Okay.
this year, so that's very exciting. In terms of the consumer markets, they are actually very different.
Right.
Although menstrual cup sales are really rising globally, both India, Europe, and US,
Right.
the reasons driving it are quite different.
Yeah.
So in India, one of the biggest factors is definitely affordability. You know, we are saving money when we buy this product.
Right.
Whereas when we sell in the UK, affordability is less important because people can afford tampons and pads every month.
Right.
But the sustainability element is super important.
Right.
Because the eco-consciousness, especially among like younger women, teens, is really high.
Right.
That they are trying to actually, there's a zero waste movement. They're trying to cut out a lot of the waste in their lives. And
Right.
one of the biggest areas of waste is pads and tampons. And that's why they switched to the cup. So even in terms of our Instagram messaging, our ads, we
Right.
tend to focus on very different messages in the different markets that we're in.
No, that's great. And also, how can someone contribute to your social impact? Because as you just done a lot of work around this, right?
Yeah, we have this incredible network of women's health NGOs in India and Africa
Right.
who are constantly accepting Asan Cups to donate in very rural areas. If you want to make a small impact today, you can literally just go on our website and click donate a cup, and you can donate, 1 cup plus menstrual health education, I think just for rupees 900, and that'll completely change, a woman or girl's life in the long term.
Right.
But we do also get a lot of funders and partners who want to do big projects with us, CSR programs, larger donation programs, and we can cover an entire village or an entire 10 villages with Asan Cups and menstrual health education. And we can actually show the incredible household savings, the
Right.
increase in days of school and work. So if our social impact is something you're passionate about, like there are a million ways to get involved. Just DM us on Instagram, and it's really a movement for equality.
No, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're almost done.
Yeah.
And do you have any message for our listeners? We have many women listeners all around the world, and we also just made it to top women's health podcast in India.
Yay!
And we are
Congratulations.
running top femtech globally. We have listeners from 90 countries tuning in, and do you want to have?
Yeah, my message to your listeners is you might be reluctant or hesitant to try a menstrual cup because it's very new
Right.
and very different. And we have all been told from a young age since we were in school to use pads.
Right.
But this is really something that we all need to question because, the pad industry is known for being full of toxic chemicals. And I think we all need to be very aware of
Right.
what we're putting in our bodies and around our bodies. And, we're all asking questions about our food, right?
Right.
These days, like what chemicals go into our food. And we need to ask the same question about period products.
Right.
And with a menstrual cup, yes, it's a little bit tricky the first time, but
Right.
once you get used to it, you will never look back. So I just want to give all your listeners that tiny little push.
Right.
Please try the Asan Cup because it will change your life.
No, of course. And I think I completely resonate with you about the toxicity of being used in women's health products like vaginal washes, period pads.
Exactly.
It's just too much. And I think no one's actually talking about it. Like people are just so focused on what's already going on. And I think to kind of bring the change, we really have to work on new structures. And I'm so grateful the companies like yours trying to make such a big change, but not just in India, but around the world.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really the support of people like you who spread the message because this is a movement about awareness and education.
Right.
It's not just selling a product.
No, absolutely. And I think education plays a huge role overall in women's health. And I think that's why this podcast is dedicated to that. We're trying to reach as many women as we can and talk about education and awareness. And they can also be conscious about choosing right products for themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And thank you so much for sharing your journey with me. And I think it was great having you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So great to be here.
Thank you.